Ahead and get started with our post-race press conference for today's party in the Poconos 400 here at Pocono Raceway. We'll get started with Chad Knaus, crew chief for the number 48 Lowe's Cobalt Tools Chevrolet. Chad, talk a little bit about that exciting race out there today.
Whew, wow. That was a lot of fun. I really love this racetrack. It's always been one of my favorites. When you come up here, you have to have so many elements to have a successful race. You've got to have a race car that'll handle. You have to have a race car that's good aerodynamically. You have to have great horsepower, great drivetrain. It's just, there's so many cool things that have to come into play. You have to pay attention to your fuel mileage, good pit stops, and when we showed up here on Friday, we realized that we had a very fast race car, and that was nice. When you have a fast car, that obviously makes the rest of the race a little bit easier. So it was a great race. Everybody's been working really hard at Hendrick Motorsports, and I really couldn't be prouder. Jimmie did a fantastic job today. His car control today was second to none.
You guys led 128 laps, which is a career high for you here at Pocono. This is your third win here, first since 2004. We'll talk a little bit about your strategy here today.
Yeah, we really wanted to try to maintain track position. I think we saw that a lot. The 39 car played that a little bit. The 2 car was attempting to get some of that going as well. And in traffic, you can run about a second slower than what you do with the leader. So we wanted to try to stay up front. We had to work that pretty heavily with the tire strategy and the fuel strategy. But that's pretty consistent is what we've had up here. Everybody understands that game, and it was a lot of fun. Actually, there was some solid racing, some good passing, and a lot of fun.
We'll open up for questions for Chad. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start in the back with David.
David Carvel, NASCAR.com. Chad, Steve Letarte said you guys and them came here with a little bit of a similar concept. How alike do you think the 48 and the 88 were today?
As the weekend progressed, they definitely merged closer to one another. When we got here, there was some differences, but then as practice went and the evolution of looking at all of our teammates' notes, we were able to kind of pull some good from everybody and apply that to the 48, and I know the 88 did the same. And that's another thing I just want to say is from the 48-88 shop, we've been working really hard to try to get our race cars better, and I think that this is a good venue to try to show how good your race cars are. And for everybody at the 48-88 shop, I think they did a fantastic job prepping these cars coming this weekend.
Okay, we'll take our next question right here in the middle, then we'll come up to Nate.
Keith Greller from Morning Call Tribune newspaper. Chad, your sense of how Jimmie's mindset was this week, I mean, it was a disappointment. Sometimes when a guy has something he feels he should have went to him, taken away from him, there's an extra sense of motivation. Did you see a different demeanor, different intensity level from him this week?
I don't really think so. It would have been very easy to come in here with a chip on your shoulder or a grudge, and Jimmie's not that kind of guy. For any of you that know Jimmie, he doesn't carry a grudge. He is a very laid back, the pinnacle Californian, and he just lets it go and come and go as it pleases. And we knew what we needed to do, and that's what we focus on. The one thing I feel like that we do really good as a team is we don't focus too much on what happened yesterday or last week. We always try to keep eyes forward, and I think that gives us always a little bit clearer view. Sometimes it's pretty easy to get clouded. My allergies are killing me up here from all that rain. I don't know if you guys have the same problem.
Okay, we'll take our next question for Nate.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Chad, you said that this is a good venue to show how good your race cars are. Last year, the 48 and the 88 both did really well here, and then it kicked off a great stretch for both cars going to Indianapolis. Do you expect to see, this might be a harbinger of the same thing this year, and are you bringing this car to Indianapolis as well?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I don't know. It is, right? This is actually the race car that we won with at Indianapolis last year, I think. I'm pretty sure it is. So I don't know exactly what, I don't know yet. I've got to get home and look at it. We've had such a busy season trying to get cars built, trying to get our inventory up to where we can kind of begin to pick and choose where we want to take race cars. For the first third of the season, we really haven't had the luxury of saying, oh, this is a good race car, we want to take it here. And I don't think anybody in the garage has. I think everybody in the garage is trying to get the Gen 6 cars produced and manufactured. You just kind of take to the racetrack what you have. And that's kind of the way that we've been. We've been very fortunate that a lot of our race cars have been very, very solid. So when I get home, I won't be home this week. When I get home next week, I'll be able to sit back, relax, and kind of see what we've got for inventory. I think so. I think Stevie and Dale are doing a really, really good job. Their communication level has just soared over the last couple of years, and I'm very proud of what it is that they do and how they communicate. They've got an amazing amount of respect for each other, and they believe in each other, and that's something that's very hard to find in the garage. When things go bad, a lot of teams, the driver will point fingers at the crew chief will point fingers at the driver or the pit crew or mechanics or however it goes, and they don't do that. If they have a good week, they all celebrate. If they have a bad week, they don't point fingers. They just say, well, we got to get better. So I think they're in a great spot. Jimmie and I are in a really good spot. Jimmie's switched on right now. He's as good or better than I've ever seen him. Thanks.
We are now joined by our race winner, Jimmie Johnson, driver of the number 48 Lowe's Cobalt Tools Chevrolet. Jimmie, congratulations on your win here today, your third win of 2013. You extended your points lead today to 51 over Carl Edwards, so talk a little bit about your dominance out there today.
Awesome. I knew he stretched it. I didn't realize it ended up being that much, so that's great. And my selfish motivation for that is if Shanny goes into labor early, I don't have to worry about Richmond. That's, honestly, that is what I'm working so hard for. Always work hard anyway, but sure take some pressure off if we lock early and don't have to worry about Richmond. But great race car, clearly. I mean, the car had a ton of speed in it, and not only the car, but I think our engine really had a chance to shine today. And the configuration here and the fact that we're able to shift, our engine shop works really hard to make that power, and today it showed. And then at times when we needed to conserve fuel, we could get that done as well. So I felt like it was a very well-rounded weekend for us, and clearly with speed. That speed, you need power, and then when we needed to back it down and save some fuel, we could do that too.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions for Jimmie, and we'll continue questions for Chad. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start over here.
Candace Smith, drafting the circuits. Gentlemen, congratulations. I'm curious, Chad won't cop to the fact that car is coming back somewhere in the near future, but you seemed quite enthusiastic about it, Jimmie. Is that a car you'd like to see in several venues coming forward?
Yeah, I think the Brickyard would be a nice place to take it. We know that things transfer from here to there, but years ago I lost touch with the cars that we took to the track. I used to have favorites, but things changed so much now. Even though NASCAR's worked very hard to make the chassis the same and the bodies the same, we're now splitting hairs and making small revisions to cars and improving them that I don't know what car I'm climbing in anymore. And that's a testament to Chad and my guys, because I just show up and pull them tight and go. And it's nice to have that confidence in my team and my cars.
Let's go over to Bob.
Bob Parker, Sporting News. Chad, did you get the gas tank full on that last pit stop, or was there was some talk that maybe you guys hadn't? And then also, obviously, Jimmie, I guess, is looking at the points. Do you even look at how many points you're ahead of Carl in the field right now?
No, we had it full. It was full. We just know that Jimmie isn't very good at saving fuel. And the facts are the facts, and the reason is because Jimmie drives so fast and he's on the throttle so much, which translates into a great lap time. So the reason that we were backing him down was just to make sure we were where we needed to be. When we took that, we made that last pit stop, we were a lap and a half to 2 laps shy of being able to finish the event. So we wanted to make sure we saved. The cautions clearly helped. But we felt like that where we were at, Jimmie could actually save enough from that point and get us to the end of the event. As far as points go, it's always important. We've got some very tricky racetracks coming up. We've got road courses. We've got Michigan. Which is very hard for us for some reason. And we want to make sure that we get as many points accumulated as we possibly can, so that if Shanny does have a problem around Richmond time, we can all relax a little bit and make sure everything's okay.
And just to add to the points, even if there's a big gap between points and positions, and I think you guys work hard and look at stats of who has gained the most points in the last 10 races and things like that. It's something we pay close attention to as well. So if we're protecting a big lead, but we're running 10th to 15th each week. If I look at the last 2 weeks as an example, we didn't finish where we should. Other guys are top 3s, top 5s, and we pay close attention to that. And right now, I think the 20 and I think Brad's starting to heat up a little bit. I think that the 99 is showing some strength. Those are the guys that I've got a close eye on right now, and just trying to make sure we're putting points on them. If we're doing that, we're doing our job. Even though the gap might change and look more dramatic at the top right now, we got to keep a good eye on past 5 races, past 10 races to make sure we're the one earning the most points.
Bill Hunnicky, the Trenton Times. Jimmie, for a mellow guy like you, that was a hell of a burnout at the end. Was there a little extra message or a little extra juice there today?
No, I wasn't sure how much smoke there was. The gear ratios are much different here, and normally I can get into second gear and get the tires spinning pretty quick and give a great smoke show, and second gear is so tall I couldn't pull it, so I wasn't sure my burnout was that good. I'm glad to hear it still was good. And I went to a donut at the end because in the mirror it didn't look very smoky to me, and I thought, man, I don't want to give a lame burnout, so I went to some donuts, and that was pretty fun.
We'll go to Jim and then up front to Scott.
Jim Noble, ESPN. Jimmie, Chad touched upon this earlier, but how honest did the 88 keep you on a couple of those final restarts? Do you sense any growing strength within that team over there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they ran great all day long. And restarts are so tough. And around here, if you can get the clean air on a short run, especially with the series of cautions we had, it'd be tough to pass him. But even with having a dominant car, I didn't want to be in that position and run second and have to worry about getting by somebody. And I learned a lot on the 2 restarts where I was on the outside of the 39, and that helped me a lot going into those final 3 with Junior on the inside of me. I do. I mean, they grow stronger and stronger each week, and I know that there's a bright light on those guys and what they do week in and week out, but they're strong, and they elevate their teammates as well. I mean, they're great teammates. They help us out. We certainly do all we can to help them out and help them grow and get stronger, but they're clicking. They're doing a great job.
Scott?
Scott Walsh from the Scranton Times-Tribune. Chad, you say you guys do a good job of not looking in the past, yet human nature, what it being, it still had to maybe have you guys come to the track with a little extra incentive after what happened last week. And Jimmie, what does it seem to be whenever you do go through a week of adversity, you guys always seem to rise to the occasion that following week?
Man, I'd really love to say that I can play into that drama, but we're so busy and we've got so much going on that Monday at 12 o'clock, that's gone. Whether it's win, lose, draw, whatever happens. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, I've got to hop on an airplane and go somewhere else. I will not think about Pocono again until we start to come back here in about 3 or 4 weeks, whenever it is. So we cannot afford to linger on any emotions or any thoughts. It's tough to do. It really is. But you've got to force yourself to move on, and that's why I could never write a book, because I don't remember what happened. It's going to be, that's just the way that we roll.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little lingering for me. I wanted to prove a point and show everybody really what could happen in that restart zone if what happened to me last week, but I couldn't do it to a teammate. I just couldn't. I guess if things stay the way they do, I'll save that for another day and prove my point even more. But outside of that, it doesn't change how we approach the weekend and how we attack and go. And honestly, when you get on the track, and for me, it might linger a little longer for a driver because we're not involved as much. Chad is clearly day to day. But once that timing and scoring goes hot in a practice session, everything that happened during the week or the week before is gone, and you're just focused on the present.
Mm-hmm. Candace Smith, drafting the circuits. One more real quickly. When Jeff Gordon won in August last year here, he said, you don't always know when your next one's going to be, and that's certainly different from his perspective in his career than where you all are. You're dominant right now. Does it still feel like a win to savor, or as Chad was saying, my thoughts are already moving on to the next thing? To me, a win would be amazing, and no matter how many you have behind you, the one that you're in, is it still as fresh for you to get a win?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie, over time things change a little, but Jeff is absolutely right, and there are no guarantees we'll win again. There really aren't. the sport moves so fast, and you know, from being on the road, I mean, we pick up our circus and head home and dust it off and reload and head right back out. So that part prevents us all from savoring, from enjoying different aspects of the sport. At the end of the year, we get a nice off season. If you're the champ or had a great year and met expectations, you can really savor it then. But if it's not into an off week, or that's your only other opportunity. You get 2 of those now a year to savor a little longer than normal. Things just moved really fast in our sport. But Jeff is absolutely right. You don't know when you're going to win again. There are no guarantees.
Hi, Jimmy. Mike Coons, Pocono Record. 128 laps is about as dominating as you can get here. When did you realize that you had this kind of car?
Well, yesterday in practice, I knew we had a lot of speed and a very comfortable car that I could lean on at times, and it wouldn't step out on me, and I could produce a lap time. Yesterday's conditions were far different than today's, so we slept well. I mean, we knew that some minor changes were all we needed to start the race. But I'd say second or third pit stop, we really nailed the setup. And it's not like we're very far off to start with because we're up front leading, but we dialed her in and got it right for the conditions at hand and made it happen.
We'll go Nate and then up here to Lee.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Jimmy, last year you finished 4th here, and that kicked off like this run that ended at Indy with the win, where I think you were like 6th or better in 7 straight races or something like that. Chad just said he's never seen you more switched on. Is there something about like this time of year, and does it feel like last year? Does it feel like you're starting to go on one of those rolls again, that, especially knowing this car could come back at Indy, where you're just going to be dominant for a couple of months here?
You guys are blowing this up. This car might not be going to Indy, just so you know.
You know what my vote is. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like we have some clarity right now in what the car likes and what it wants. And really, that's the only thing that we as a team go by, and really any team does. You know, there are a lot of times when you work on your stuff and you test and you race and you build some theories, and that's all we do week in and week out, is build theories as to why the car's tight or why it's loose. Sometimes your theories play out and you're smart and you're here in victory lane, and other times they don't. So I feel like we have a clear vision now of what the car wants, what this Gen 6 car wants, and we're getting smarter and smarter with it. And that leads into stretches where you can click off the wins and the finishes. So excited to have some clarity right now. I think we understand our package, regardless if it's a short track or a big track, and even super speedway, we've been awfully competitive there too. So we have clarity right now, and as long as we can keep it, we'll be in good shape.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Everybody said that you were just killing it in turn 3, and that's where, that was like your secret weapon because nobody could catch you there. What was your secret of getting through turn 3?
I knew I was fast through there. I'm not sure what or why, but I could yard guys real good through turn 3. In years past, I've learned a line and a rhythm to that corner that's been useful. A lot of available grip with the fresh repave, and I think it's kind of coming my way, coming back to the old way of the way turn 3 used to work for me, and that's how I drove it today, and it worked really good. Just got to be smart with it. But I think our car was rolling all 3 corners pretty good. In fuel saving mode, could get a nice gap off of 3 and then manage my fuel the rest of the way around the track, and guys would kind of inch back up to me and then blister 3 again and get my gap and then slowly catch up due to fuel savings. Yep.